What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be telling you about my 9-step plan for you guys to get out of Diamond and into that Elite rank. I personally play the ranked a lot, and these 9 steps have worked for me, so let's get right into it. So the first step is going to be finding a good loot path. So one of the best things you can do to help rank up is play consistent, and landing at the same place every time helps out a lot. It doesn't really matter where you land as long as you stick with it and learn that area well. I'll show you on screen a map of areas that are good drop spots this season, and if one sticks out to you, you can try dropping there. The goal by the end of this step is to have a full loadout, which would ideally be like 2 guns, 2 heals, and a movement item, but there's a little bit of wiggle room there. Alright, the very next step is going to be getting materials. Obviously you're playing 0 builds. This guide doesn't really apply, but for builds players, you're going to want to get materials. Winning fights is based around who has high ground and who can do more piece control. And obviously you need materials for that. So once you've got your full loadout, you kind of want to get like 300 wood, 300 brick, and 100 metal. But once again, you can be a little bit over that or a little bit under that. That's not like a set limit you need to have by the end of this. So yeah, go do that. Alright, the third step and the final step of the early game is position yourself. So ideally you've got like a full loadout. The guns don't have to be great, but shotgun, AR, heals, getting the heals, you don't have to be maxed out. Basically, for this step of positioning, you want to put yourself towards the center of the zone. So you want to be like a third of the way into it, because if you go too far in, everybody tries to do that and you get killed. So you want to be like about a third of the way into it. That's the good spot. Alright guys, now we are into the mid game, which means you are 1/3 of the way through the guide. If you are still alive at this point, which hopefully you are, the 4th step is to look for gun upgrades. So probably leaving your drop spot, you've got not great loot, I would imagine. In this clip here, I got like pretty good loot, but generally you've got like a green shotgun, maybe, blue AR, gray SMG, whatever. The goal by the end of this step is to have some epic guns, so some purple guns, and maybe a legendary or 2. And this step isn't necessary, but it helps out a lot during fighting in the late game and end of the mid game. So basically the way you can do this, there's 2 ways. If you're more of a passive player, what you're going to want to do is just go loot more areas around your POI. You can maybe, go into a vault that somebody's already looted, maybe they left something, or kind of go through old builds, or you can just go into buildings that haven't been looted yet. However, if you're a more aggressive player and you're a little bit better at the game, you can just go fight people, and that will work too, because most likely they've got good guns from other people. So either way, it's just up to preference. So step 2 of the mid game is pretty simple, which is step 5 overall, and that is just more farming. Basically, by now you've probably spent like a decent amount of your heals disengaging from fights or just getting up and down hills and stuff. So you're going to want to refarm and then farm a little bit more than you did last time. The goal by the end of this step is to have 500 wood, 500 brick, and 300 steel. If you're safe with your mats, you can go a little bit lower, or if you overbuild a lot, you should probably go for more mats than that, but that's a pretty safe amount. Alright, the 6th step is going to be positioning part 2. This is the last step of the mid game, so this is pretty important. Here, since a lot of the players are going to be, assuming a lot of players are still alive, you're going to start being more populated in areas. So the height actually matters a lot. So what you're going to want to do is find yourself like a nice hill, get on top of that, maybe build up a few layers out of brick or steel. And as far as zone goes, you still want to be about a third into the way of zone. That way, maybe 1 or 2 circles can pull and you'll still be safe inside of the circle. One last thing on this positioning is you want to have good line of sight. Ideally like 360 view with nothing blocking you. So obviously if you're on top of a huge mountain, that helps a ton. But like if you're in the middle of a forest, you can't see anywhere because there's trees everywhere. So yeah, just think about all those things when trying to position at the end of the mid-game. Alright, and by now we are still into the end game, which is the most important part of a Fortnite ranked game because it's where you get the most points for kills and placement. So basically the way the rank system works is the longer you survive, the more points you get just for doing anything. So this is a pretty crucial part of ranking up, is this part of the game. Hopefully by now you're in a position with good high ground, good line of sight, about 1100 mats maybe, and a lot of ammo. So the 7th step is just to dominate, and if everything I just mentioned is true, then you're in a really good position to win the game. All you have to do now is focus on your surroundings and try and keep a mental note of where everybody in the lobby is. If there's 15 or 16 people up, it doesn't really matter because you can't track that many people in your head at once, but if it's just 6 or 7, you want to try and have an idea of where everybody is. So just looking around, you're not getting snuck up on and stuff like that. Then maybe if you have a 360 view, you can see people fighting and third-party opportunities or get a sneaky kill. Alright, this is the second to last step, and it's very important, especially if you're in stacked lobbies and you're going into the final circle with 3 or 4 people still up. The second to last step is positioning, part 3. Positioning is one of the most important things about performing well in a ranked setting. So if your game has lasted this long and it's not over yet and you're still alive, here's what you want to do. Stay on high ground. Being above everybody else means there are less angles for people to shoot you from. You only have to build below you, and now you're able to apply pressure to the people below you, which in most cases will get you some free kills. So the last step is maybe the hardest, but it's pretty straightforward. It's to win. And if you've made it this far, you're on high ground, it's a 1v1. All you have to do is hit your shots and get that victory royale. Alright guys, one last thing before I let this clip finish rolling is if this guide helped you, please subscribe because it would help me out a ton. Put a lot of time into this video and yeah, hopefully it helped you guys.